Welcome back to Mars Discoveries. On Thursday, March 14, 2024, SpaceX's Starship mega rocket embarked on its third test flight from Texas, USA, demonstrating improved resilience compared to its prior attempts. However, it fell short of its intended splashdown in the Indian Ocean. SpaceX's inaugural launch of the formidable Starship occurred in April 2023, yet it wasn't until 7 months later that it took flight once more. After the second test flight in November, SpaceX successfully propelled the Starship off the launch pad again just 4 months later in a remarkable flight. During the live webcast, SpaceX commentators reported a loss of communication with the spacecraft during its atmospheric re-entry, with no crew or cargo on board. Shortly after liftoff at 8:25 a.m. Central Time from the southern tip of Texas, the booster detached smoothly from the spaceship and safely landed in the Gulf of Mexico. The spacecraft traveled halfway around the globe for approximately an hour before nearing its target splashdown in the Indian Ocean, where communication was abruptly cut off. External cameras captured the plasma field formed as the Starship re-entered Earth's atmosphere, but SpaceX later confirmed the destruction of the spacecraft during re-entry. Despite this setback, achieving most of the intended test flight trajectory represents a significant milestone in the development of the spacecraft, crucial for Elon Musk's satellite launch business and NASA's moon program. During the initial 2 test flights, the vehicle met an abrupt end with explosions mere minutes after liftoff. However, in the third test, the Starship, comprising the first stage Super Heavy booster and the upper stage Starship spacecraft, successfully underwent stage separation for the second time, accomplishing the primary objectives of the mission, including achieving orbit for the first time. Unfortunately, complications arose in the later stages, with the Super Heavy exploding during its descent towards the Gulf of Mexico and the Starship disintegrating while descending rapidly over the Indian Ocean. Engineers will focus their efforts on rectifying these issues for the upcoming 4th test flight. Comparing this launch to previous efforts, while the first 2 ended in significant failures, this one did achieve some successes. It reached an altitude of 230 kilometers, farther and faster than before, and even entered orbit. However, re-entry posed a problem, indicated by the loss of telemetry data and some video feed. Nonetheless, this suggests progress, especially for Elon Musk, who aims to position SpaceX as a service provider for NASA. Musk praised his team on social media, noting SpaceX's progress since its founding exactly 22 years ago. The 122-meter rocket, Musk's ambitious project, aims not only to deploy Starlink satellites but also to eventually transport humans to Mars. Additionally, a variation of the SpaceX vessel, the Human Landing System, HLS, is vital for lunar exploration missions, requiring successful demonstrations such as ship-to-ship fuel transfers. Previously, Starship's achievements were incremental, with its third integrated flight test, IFT-3, representing the third launch of both the booster and the spaceship together. Earlier tests faced setbacks, with the first flight ending in explosion and subsequent tests demonstrating advancements in separation techniques. While NASA might view these setbacks differently due to its stringent safety requirements and public scrutiny, SpaceX operates with greater flexibility, backed by private funding. However, with NASA relying on commercial entities for progress, success remains imperative. Despite challenges, experts remain optimistic about SpaceX's potential to meet NASA's safety standards, albeit with possible delays. Musk's ability to scale up production quickly suggests a rapid pace of future launches, potentially leading to regular flights by the end of the year. Looking ahead, if and when the test proves successful, it could unlock various commercial opportunities in space. The Starship system, developed by SpaceX, aims to be a reusable rocket for carrying cargo and people beyond Earth's orbit, with government-funded space agencies reducing their funding for such endeavors. Private enterprises like SpaceX are stepping in to fill the gap. Success for SpaceX could mean fulfilling a multi-billion-dollar contract with NASA, involving regular missions to transport people and cargo into space. Ultimately, this could play a crucial role in NASA's moon program, known as Artemis, as SpaceX assists in achieving the goal of returning to the moon. So when will SpaceX launch again? Well, SpaceX is aiming to conduct the next launch of its Starship vehicle by early May, pending the acquisition of an amended launch license. Wynne Shotwell, president and COO of SpaceX, revealed this plan during the Satellite 2024 conference on March 19. Despite ongoing data analysis from the vehicle's recent third integrated launch on March 14, Shotwell expressed confidence in the readiness for another flight. Describing the previous launch as incredibly successful, Shotwell highlighted that both the Super Heavy booster and Starship upper stage performed as anticipated, achieving the planned suborbital trajectory. Notably, the payload door of the Starship was opened in space, and a propellant transfer demonstration was initiated between two tanks. However, a planned relight of Starship's Raptor engines did not occur due to a roll induced in the vehicle. The subsequent re-entry saw the vehicle breaking apart at approximately 65 kilometers altitude, with the Super Heavy booster exploding during its descent to the Gulf of Mexico. While details of the mishap are yet to be disclosed pending a thorough investigation, Shotwell remained optimistic about resuming flights in about 6 weeks or early May. She clarified that the next Starship launch is not expected to deploy Starlink satellites, emphasizing the priority of perfecting re-entry and landing procedures. The timeline for the next launch hinges on completing a mishap investigation approved by the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, which would then modify the existing launch license. Kelvin Coleman, FAA Associate Administrator for Commercial Space Transportation, expressed confidence that the investigation would not uncover major issues causing significant delays. He underscored that SpaceX was able to gather valuable data from the launch and expected a swift mishap investigation report from the company. Looking ahead, Coleman mentioned the FAA's intention to transition to a licensing process covering a portfolio of launches rather than individual ones, particularly pertinent as SpaceX plans 6 to 9 more Starship launches this year. This move is part of broader efforts to streamline the launch licensing process, addressing concerns about the FAA's pace in approving licenses under new regulations. Shotwell echoed the goal of achieving operational status for the Starship vehicle, expressing enthusiasm for deploying satellites into orbit and achieving rapid turnaround for both stages. We'll take a look at more SpaceX developments over the coming weeks, especially the progress of next Starship flight, so please remember to tune in for regular updates. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this episode, please remember to like and subscribe for more content. Your support is appreciated. See you next time on Mars Discoveries.